Yo, what is up everybody? Jump in here, and today I wanted to talk about how to defeat Aksis, the final raid boss in Destiny Rise of Iron. Now this guy is a total bitch, but personally I think the biggest problem is light level. It is 380, so if you're not actually close to that, you're going to have a lot of trouble, and as time goes on and people level up, this will be a lot easier. Now I'm going to be actually talking about a strategy that you can do at a lower light. I would recommend the light level for this to be at least 365. When I did this, I had multiple people with 365, and I was the highest light, and I was 370. So yes, it is possible, even if you are lower light. You just need to do a different strategy. Most of the people that defeated it right away in the short little time that we had before the reset, those were people that play a lot of Destiny. They have a lot of motes of light, they have a lot of strange coins or heavy ammo packs, and they were able to grind out a lot of packages and then raise their light. And if you were able to do that, it made the raid a lot easier. Once you are 372, that is when like the raid will become extremely easy, especially this part, because the enemies are no longer orange. It could be 371, I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on that, but from what I've noticed, it's at least 371 or 2. The enemies will stop having like the orange health and they won't do nearly as much damage to you. So that is an important thing to know. But like I said, it is actually still possible to do this even if you are not 372. Alright, let me talk strategy now, because what we do is different from a lot of people, but this is what we made up. We didn't rip this off from anyone. I did not want to watch any videos on how to do it. I wanted to come up with my own strategy because I think that's the most fun part of the raid. It's really stressful and it's really freaking annoying, that's for sure, but coming up with a new strategy and then adjusting that strategy is always a lot of fun for me. Okay, now what we were doing is that we were doing what I would call the canon rules all freaking strategy. And this would be a lower light level strategy. Now at higher light levels, you can do different things, okay? But for the lower light people, this is a good strategy to get you through the raid the first time. Once you do the raid the first time, it will become a lot easier. You'll get higher light, and also on top of that, if you get lucky, you can get this scout rifle. And let me tell you, this scout rifle I'm using from the raid is freaking amazing. You get it from defeating this guy. So if you do beat him and you do not get the scout rifle, open the chest, because you do have a pretty high chance of getting the scout rifle if you beat him and then you open the chest on top of that. If not, you'll get the auto rifle. And the auto rifle is good too, but this scout rifle has a lot of DPS and it helps for the entire raid. Anyway, this strategy with the cannon is very important, because what we like to do is pretty much just go crazy on the first cannon guy and then use that cannon guy to then help everyone else kill their cannon guys. Now, like I said, later on when you're higher light, you won't need to do this. Everyone can go and kill their cannon guy instantly. But those cannon guys will freaking murder you when you are low light. Especially the one in the middle. He's like super dangerous because the shanks are like stupid OP as well. So what I was doing primarily in this video, but I actually have a live commentary version of our very first time actually defeating it. And in that, you will see it a little bit different because I'm using a sniper in that video, where in this video, I'm using a shotgun, because a shotgun for this fight is actually pretty good. This is one of the only bosses, it might be the only one ever, that does not move like when you can damage him. And that's like pretty freaking crazy because he does not ground pound. Most bosses will ground pound. And using like a shotgun or a sword or something is like impossible if they're ground pounding on you, because they'll freaking murder you instantly. This guy is different. You can use a shotgun. You might even be able to use a sword. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it yet. But I would say you might want to try it sometime because it could actually help a lot. But anyway, so yeah, shotguns are good, but maybe if you do not have this scout rifle, I would still recommend a sniper. Once you have the scout rifle, I would say the scout rifle's DPS is probably higher than a sniper, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, what we like to do is pretty much send one guy on the left. I would say maybe have 2 people on the left with gallows horns. And then what you would want to do is once the cannon guy comes out, rush him with either shotguns or the gallows horn, unload on his ass to make sure you get him down. But you do want to conserve your Gallowhorn rockets if possible. So I would say maybe one Gallowhorn and a shotgun is a great way of taking him out. A Warlock is another great way of taking him out. Because of fusion grenades and things like that, in the Warlock, if he dies, who cares? He can self-res, he could punch him, get an overshield, stick him, shotgun him, stick him. There you go. It works really well. Once you have that first cannon, you have the guy pick it up, you run to mid with the cannon, you try to help kill the captain in the middle, and at this time, multiple people are going to be shooting that captain, taking his shield off, trying to weaken him, and then you charge up the cannon, you take him out, then you move to the right side, and you try to help with that cannon guy, and hopefully he's weak enough to take him out quickly. The main problem with the cannon strategy is that when you actually kill the cannon guy on the right side, what's going to happen is that the guy picking up the cannon, he might have a very limited amount of time to actually kill his servitor. So you need to get on that servitor right away. And I would recommend maybe jumping up in the air and taking that shot and sticking him and taking out the servitor, because a lot of times he'll be on the plate if you're taking the slower approach. So that is something to remember. Now, if you're wondering why do you kill the cannon guy on the left first, he seems to be the first one that will come out. And the one in the middle comes out like very soon after, but the one in the middle is like total suicide. There's so many shanks and freaking cannon guys OP. So like I said, take out the one on the left, then use that cannon to help take out the one in the mid, and then use that cannon to help take the one out on the right. And if you do it right, then you can go ahead and set up for damage. Now, the other thing that will screw over your fire team is empowerment. Like, what do you do for empowerment? Now, obviously, for this actual part, you're going to want to have 2 people on the left, 2 people on the right, and 2 people in the mid. And the whole time before the cannon guys come out, you're just going to be killing shanks. Now, once the cannon guys are about to come out, you will get empowered. And that is kind of the cue to know, like, we got to go get cannon guys. So if you're going to, like, rush the one on the left, once the empowerment comes out, that's when you rush, okay? Now, the thing is that sometimes if you're on the left, you might not get empowered, okay? Either person, it's totally random, might not get empowered. So it's very important to establish who has it, especially initially. Now, some teams do different things with the cannon where, like, if you are empowered, you don't pick up the cannon, and if you're not empowered, you do pick up the cannon. To me, I think that can be very confusing. And if you don't know people you're playing with very well, that could be extremely confusing. And one of my tips, guys, if you don't know people very well, or you don't know their voices, because like with my team, everybody knows my voice, and I know everyone else's voice, so when they say something, I know who's talking. But if you don't know these people very well, make sure you just tell everyone, hey, please say your name. Like if it was me, I would say, Jumpin' has empowerment on the left. And then once I say that, then they know, everyone on my team knows, okay, for the initial like stun, Jumpin' will be on the left with empowerment. And then another person will volunteer where to go. Maybe let's say my buddy Nasty would say, I'm empowered on the right. And then my buddy Ark would say, I'm empowered in the mid. So now we have the setup. We know everyone is empowered on the right sides, so that wherever he goes, he will be stunned. And then after that, the empowerment will shift, but sometimes it will come right back to you. So if you had empowerment initially and then you lost it, call it out. And please, it's very important, try not to have everyone talking over each other and talking about empowerment. That's where shit will get super confusing. So like if I was on the right with empowerment and I went down and I stunned him and then I lost empowerment, I would say I am no longer empowered on the right. And then if someone else is on that right side with me and they're empowered, they can call out and say, I have it, I'm on the right. And you just have to adjust. So if you lose it, let your team know you lost it, and then there you go. And you just try to figure out as best as you can, like, where is everyone standing for empowerment. Now, there are different positions. Like, we call the top area the top mid because he can teleport there, and then we have the bottom mid, and then we have the left, and then we have the right. Now, it's very important to always have one guy in the middle, and when I say the middle, I'm talking about the actual middle, not the top mid, not the bottom mid, the middle of the middle. Yes, I know I just went there, but that is where he will normally stand, because if the boss will teleport to the top middle behind him, he can turn around, slam him, and stun him. If he's in the bottom mid, he can go ahead and jump on top of him and stun him. Now the people on the left, and you will see this in this video, I'm not going to like try to really point this out right now, but in the video you will see this, and you will see my teammates doing it. When I am empowered on the left or right side, I'm going to stand like on a little bit of a ledge. Because if he will teleport to the left or if he will teleport to the right, you can easily just like turn around and go and stun him on that side. Now, if you are also on that ledge, you can get him if he teleports to the bottom mid. That is something that is very important. Sometimes he will go down there, and if you're standing right there, anyone can get him. And I mean anyone. So it's important that everyone who is in position should just try to go and get him. Just in case someone like just has a brain fart and they just don't know what they're doing and they're like, oh, well, I kind of forgot. I was looking at the left. I didn't see him down there. My bad. No. Well, guess what? The guy in the middle, you know, he's going to get him, or the guy on the right's going to get him, or the guy on the left's going to get him, because the bottom mid is not really too trolly. It's pretty easy to get because there's 3 people in position, but the top mid, that's the one that's kind of trolly, because that's the one that if you don't have someone in position, you'll mess up the most, just because when it's there, you know, someone wasn't expecting it. They weren't in the mid when they should have been. They didn't call out properly. So communication is very key for this part. And the best thing about the cannons is the mobility that you get. You can shoot them, you can turn around, move to the spot you need to go to, and that's why I'm moving. Like, I'm trying to figure out where I need to go. I'm telling my teammates I'm empowered on right, and then maybe my buddy said I'm empowered on right. And I say, okay, I'll go mid. And then someone on left said I'm empowered on left. So now we know that, you know, everything's good. Now, if he's on the right side or the left side and he's stunned, you do not need to worry about him reappearing on the left or right. So you don't really need an empowerment on the left at that point. You can have an empowerment on the mid and empowerment on the right. That's the main thing. Alright, so that's really how you want to do the empowerment step. Now, damage-wise, you just want to lay into him, okay? Especially for that third stun. Like, if you have 2 hunters, I would recommend a tether on the second stun, and then you could put, like, some damage on him right there. But you should always be shooting him. Sniping him, scout rifle, shooting him, using your Gallahorn a little bit, maybe a little bit of heavy machine gun. I would recommend saving a lot of heavy machine gun for the end. The cannons, I personally recommend using them throughout the entire like stunning process, because once you get to that third stun, that's where you go all out. If you have melting point on a Sunbreaker Titan, you can use it, but first I would recommend a tether, and then when that wears off, maybe have the Sunbreaker. You can use a shotgun, don't forget. So maybe that guy can have a shotgun. He runs up, punches him, unloads his shotgun on him. And the main thing here is to do as much damage as you can. Like I said, I think 2 Gallahorns is a good idea for maybe taking out captains. But in terms of damaging the boss, I personally think the light machine guns are much better. I think the one from the Kingsfall raid, I think that one is amazing because of Cocoon. Because you could bust that out, unload the clip, bust out a sniper or something, or maybe a scout rifle, I don't know, shoot him in the face, then bust it back out and unload another clip. The Nemesis Star is another great light machine gun because it just does crazy damage, and it actually does reload fairly quickly if you use the entire magazine. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here, guys, to actually do a lot of good damage to them. And like I said, go all out with Weapons of Light, the tether, maybe melting point. If you have 2 hunters, use a tether on the second stun and just snipe the fuck out of them, scout rifle the fuck out of them, shotgun the fuck out of them. Shotguns work, so you can rush them if you want. And the shotguns are very, very nice for helping you take out captains, okay? I would recommend to have at least like a couple shotgun guys just for the captains. But at the same time, if you're more comfortable with a sniper and sniping the boss in the face, by all means, use the sniper, but try to figure out what you can do to maybe help take out the captain. And remember, the reason why the cannon strategy is really nice is because you can, first of all, make sure no one dies, or at least you should be able to keep everyone alive a lot easier. And on top of it, you can conserve a lot of heavy ammo for that third stun, because once you get him to that third stun, that is when it's time to tether, to melting point, to go all out with damage. And then finally, once you get him low enough, he will go to the middle like Oryx, and you just unload on his ass, and it just feels so nice to kill this son of a bitch. Alrighty guys, well, I really hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope it has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me, and be sure to subscribe, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.